Fingertips, fingertips.
I
Spotlight
hurt
always flicking.
myself today.
Doo-dah.
God, it's crazy how
Can't
reliant we
hear
get.
you, but I can hear me.
Oh, right, because you're.
Walking on down. Oh, now I look 4D. Jeez, man, what in the fudge is going on? Why
Hurt
am I so? Oh,
myself.
duh. I'm like being stupid. What is going on here?
Well, while he is addressing the light, we
Oh,
have.
of course, we're live.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we have figured it out. I had to get a new machine, so I had to reset up OBS, and I now understand how reliant we are on technology because I'm like, I've done this before, but now I have to do it again, and this is kind of a pain. And plus, it's up to, oh, yeah, there's just that little peak of light. And that's when I told him, that's why you're my co host.
It's Rectum that killed him.
Wrecked him. I barely knew him. Anyway, welcome to the Average Intelligence Podcast. It's been a minute, but we have a treat for everyone today. We have a treat because concluding the month of February in the middle of March, February was our movie review month, but this one's too good to not the review, not the movie, just so we're clear. The movie itself is kind of hot garbage, but there's it has it has all the right. I like to describe this movie as a movie that has all the right ingredients, but they put the sandwich together wrong.
No, it's a perfect soup. It just needs salt and pepper.
Oh no, it's literally like it could be filet mignon, but they just didn't prepare the dish right. But enough with the food metaphors. For some reason, I can't bring up the live chat, which is weird because I kind of wanted to
Oh,
keep an eye on that.
most of the time I do pull it up too. I just forgot. It's been
Oh
a
no, there it is.
while.
Never mind. There it is. There it is. Anywho, we're
Anyhow,
if you haven't figured it out from the thumbnail or the title, we are talking about the movie God's Not Dead, which I will say it. I'm not going to say it's undeservedly panned because this movie's got a lot of problems. However, I would like to say at the outset, after watching it again, it's not as horrifically bad as I remember it. Like, don't get me wrong, it's still bad. But this movie does tend to get painted in a slightly unfair light because the only people that review it are like militant atheists. Which don't get
yeah.
me wrong, it's got problems. I'm not saying this movie does not have problems. But I figure in the spirit of being fair and good, we'll start with the good. So Eric, what did you I'm very excited to hear your opinions on this, by the way. I have not heard any of his opinions other than the fact that he was stoked that Kevin Sorbo was in it, which he already knew.
I mean, Kevin Sorbo, like I thought he was a good actor, but like honestly, like I only ever saw him in Hercules, and then I saw him in this, and I was like, he's the same person. He's just not wearing
Okay,
medieval
okay,
clothing.
okay. I'm gonna controversial. I actually think he's one of the highlights of this movie.
I didn't say he's not good. I said he's the same person.
Okay,
I
fair enough.
enjoyed the way he acted in Hercules so much that I was okay with it in this movie.
That was your
But
expectation, right?
yeah, yes, I didn't know if he was, versatile or if he was the same actor because some actors can play a character and then that be their entire character. Look at what's his face from Fast and the Furious,
Oh, Vin
Hector.
Diesel.
No,
Oh no
Hector,
no no yeah yeah yeah.
the guy that's running the spoon engines. But anyway, he plays the same character in every single movie he's in. He's just known as Hector. So anyway, yeah, that's Kevin Sorbo for me in this movie. But I don't. I enjoyed it.
I mean, realistically, I would like I said, I've got some highlights. So how this is going to work is we're going to go through the bad. We're going to go through. I mean, I'm sorry, we're going to go through the good because there are good things about this movie. That I
I'm gonna restrain myself today.
how so?
We're gonna get through this on schedule.
Uh, No, we're not.
I've got a time limit before I become stupid, so I'm
Oh,
trying.
okay.
A
Well,
lot of
the
pain.
end the I will be
Oh,
I will be
man.
monopolizing the end of this podcast. So because we're gonna go through the good, basically the good stuff about the movie, then we're gonna go through the bad, and then we're gonna do a thing where I save this movie by doing some key rewrites, but I'm constraining myself as I can't change too much. I have to deal with the overarching situations and I can't eliminate characters. That's another rule I gave myself.
You know, to go to the dark side right now, too bad we don't have powerful AI to recreate the ending in the way that you want.
Oh, it's not. It's the whole movie, dude. But the thing of it is,
Oh, was it? Okay.
the overall plot elements and characters stay the same because whenever I quote unquote save a script, that's the rule I give myself because it's easy. It's too easy to just rewrite it, and the title still has to make sense. So all the characters have to remain present if they're major characters. The Martin Chinese guy. I don't mention him,
Eh.
but he could be in the movie because he doesn't really serve a purpose, narratively speaking. And the same overarching story, but I fix it. So starting off with the good, I was like I said, this movie's not as horrible as people say it is, but it is honestly still pretty bad, which is a shame because, like I said, it has all the ingredients. But before we do that, I guess we should give everybody a brief plot synopsis, just in case they haven't seen this movie. Cool. So I'll take that.
Are you playing a video?
No, we're
Oh, my.
just we're live, dude. We're just
Oh,
giving.
okay.
Although
Dude,
honestly, the trailer would have been a good idea, but
well, I was gonna say because literally my audio cut out at the same time and it sounded like you were playing a video, and I was like, okay. I was like,
cool.
I guess he's playing a video.
I am not.
Anyways, so plot synopsis: college kid enrolls in a class, and he gets a liberal professor who obviously hates God because of something that happened. You know, you don't find that out till a little later on,
Yeah,
and then you find out,
he claims to be
yeah,
an atheist, but it turns out he very much believes in God. He just
he
hates
lost
him.
his mother to cancer because he watched it eat her up. He couldn't justify that,
Which
not realizing other truths.
that is something that if it's ever mentioned in a review, they always like play it for laughs or be like, see, and it's like, no, that actually makes a lot of sense because the movie does say most militant or the most committed atheists usually do come from a background of belief. Like they usually were religious earlier in life. And then, not exclusively, but generally speaking, something happens, whether that's a personal tragedy or something happens to take them off. But anyway, so long story short, this philosophy professor mandates that his students at the beginning, in order to get over the philosophy of religion section, which don't worry, I'm going to touch on that because that would never ever happen. But in this movie, he requires all of his students to write God is dead, which is a horrible misunderstanding of a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche, which again we'll get into.
Hmm.
And Josh cannot do this because Josh is a Christian. And in order to save his grade, he has to argue for the existence of God at the end of like, well, I forget what was the few weeks, like 3 weeks or so, 3 weeks of
Yeah,
classes.
he had three or four. I'm
It
fairly
was
certain it
three
was
or
three.
four. Yeah, 3 or 4. And if he does not convince the
20 minutes
majority
at the end of each class
class,
so that he could convince the rest of the class to come on his side.
yeah. Well, and he doesn't have to convince all of them. He has to convince a majority. Otherwise, he loses 30% of his grade, and his chances of going to law school are ruined forever. And
Because of a
there's
liberal professor who hates life.
also this weird subplot about two pastors trying to go to Disneyland, um, and yeah, well, Disney World technically, because I finally
And
found
they
out where this movie takes place, and Duck Dynasty's there for reasons.
well,
It's I always referred to
Duck
this
Dynasty was
movie.
popular at the time.
Oh no, this is true, and believe it or not, I saved that too. I actually make Duck Dynasty look good in my rewrite, not silly. And I always describe this movie as the Christian version of Crash because it is basically the same concept.
Oh, dude, Crash was a great
Oh, I love
movie.
Crash. Crash is one of the few movies that does that sort of like seemingly uninterconnected stories that actually are connected, usually by
But
one
they
common thread.
connected them so well. They didn't just like connect, just by, oh, we ran you over. Into the movie.
Yeah, no, well, honestly, this movie doesn't do a bad job of doing that thing. It's not as good as Crash, but it's not horrible, and that's the thing. Like it's loosely, but so that's the plot without giving away the end. Although we're gonna give away the ending, but because the ending's
And they
stupid.
they made sure to get all, walks of life in there, like all races. Nothing
Oh,
wrong with that, but like they made sure to cover all their bases. It just felt like a 90s after special, show, like don't get me wrong, was it good? Yeah, but like was it like Lifetime good? Yeah, probably. That's like
oh
about
no.
as best
See,
as it was.
see, here's where I differ. I think in terms of when I'm using Christian movies in this sense with the quotes, I mean like the really preachy, again, Lifetime quality. This movie's better than that, both in quality and even in. I know this is heresy. It's not good writing, but it's better writing than I've seen.
Um, it's a cartoon, but the
It's
movie that just came out, Daniel.
see, I
That
haven't
was
seen it.
re I went and watched it with my kids, whatnot, and my wife, dude. It was really good.
Is
Like, don't
that
get me
live
wrong, it was very,
action?
it was no, but it was very
Oh, okay.
singy. It was very singy, but
Yeah.
like it like the message and everything. It was good. It was a good movie, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and and believe me, because we talked about two other. One's very much a Christian movie. The other one's kind of like it's a little more new age. We're talking about What Dreams May Come, but it has a Christian base because
Yeah,
like, and there are good Christian movies out there, and some of them are surprising. We'll probably talk about another one that I was pleasantly surprised by.
Angels in the Outfield could be easily considered one. You think?
I mean, yeah, because it's at least using Western Christian imagery. So yeah, I'll
Yeah.
give you that. It's not about Christianity, but I mean it anyway. Um, okay, and this is a me thing, but I'm tired of people saying that this movie looks bad because it doesn't. It's pretty. It's
Oh
got
no, it was shot very well. Like
yeah.
the colors and what, and
It's
dude, they
it's
did a
got
really good job.
it's got nice vibrant colors. They didn't skimp out on the cameras. It's I mean it
It was filmed
is
on film. That's why.
really oh that
Yeah.
surprises me.
So
So they
so
spent
therefore,
money.
like, well, so that way, because like when you filmed on film, it just remember how it looks versus the stuff's like on digital now. It just has
Well,
that look to it. It just it's like synthetic. Like I don't know
Well,
how to
that's
explain it.
you can film on digital and have good colors because I believe the Dune remakes are shot
I'm not.
digitally.
I don't doubt that, but I'm just saying you can. Your eyes can still tell the difference when you're watching on an LCD or LED, versus an old CRT TV. Your eyes
Sure,
can tell the
yeah,
difference.
yeah.
The
I'll
refresh rate and whatnot, dude.
I'll
Those
give you that.
constant flashes, they
Yeah,
destroy our eyes and brains.
yeah. I'll give you that. But the point I'm making is I like
Sorry, that
my.
was way off
No,
field.
you're good. You're good. But I mean, that's the thing. Film language wise, it's kind of basic, but it's not as basic as other Christian movies. Like the camera moves in this movie sometimes, and that
hmm
hey, I'll take it. Um, but
The
yeah, it's got
preacher and the one guy going on their trip though, that was kind of like left field. That was kind of like unnecessary. You could have just like
it's a plot
anybody could have ran.
contrivance,
I know, but it was just
but that points to bad writing because they have to be there in the at the end of the story so that they can save
they
Kevin
were there
Sorbo's
for
soul.
just that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, the funny thing is like I know he got hit, but like he didn't get hit super hard. Like, they didn't seem like they were going that fast. I don't know how
I
they were
know. I think he got
so
hit at like maybe 30 miles an hour, which I mean, don't
and
get me
don't get me wrong,
wrong,
I'm not saying they wouldn't kill somebody, but at the same time, it's
it,
Kevin Sorbo, man.
it probably wouldn't kill someone, but I mean, don't get me wrong, it would not be fun. But I also don't think he would vault over the car at that point. I'm pretty sure that
But why
I should have
why
asked
couldn't he just be
Justin.
saved? Why couldn't he have just been
Well,
saved?
but yeah, that's why you're gonna like my re. I should ask Justin if you're in the chat. How fast was the car going that hit you? Was it about? No, seriously, Justin's been hit by a car, so he has firsthand. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, it's a
I,
heck of
I
it's a heck of a story.
I thought
He
you guys
tells
had
it.
talked about this movie and joked about it or something.
No, he watched it. He's going to talk about it. And to be fair, Justin has a different perspective, but and this is kind of where I'm trying to bridge the gap because I feel like because I first watched this movie when I was an atheist and I lampooned the shit out of it. It's still not a great movie. It's not even a good movie, but it could have been. But going back to some of the good things, I feel like I'm talking too much. Oh, I already touched on this. So the film language is basic, but at least it's hopeful. Like the movie itself is hopeful and it's aesthetically pleasing when it's not neutral. Some of the scenes are a little boring to watch from a camera perspective, but at least it's not ugly. You know what I mean? Like it's not. off-putting. At best, you're bored. You're never like, this looks like shit. And LSU sure does have a pretty campus because that's
Yeah.
that's where they
Oh, the
shot the
campus in
col.
the movie.
hmm
It
I
was
figured
nice.
out. I figured out where they shot this movie because I had always been. It takes place because they shot it in. It also makes sense. And I'm like, well, it has to have been somewhere in the southeast because the Duck Dynasty guy's there, and it's presented as though he's not visiting. So this movie does take place in Louisiana, which brings up all kinds of problems with the plot too, because not a one person here has a southern accent, and having met enough people from Louisiana to know, y'all don't talk like that.
No, they got a thick accent, most of them.
Duck Dynasty is much more accurate, but there are a bunch of people out here sounding like they're from Southern California because they are.
That, that's why Duck Dynasty was only in the movie for like one scene and the rest of it was filmed, so they just send it to them.
No, no, they
He's like,
shot
we can
they
only
shot
come
it.
down for one day because you
They
can't
shot.
afford us.
I mean, basically, yeah. They did
Not
shoot
with
it in
that
Louisiana.
budget.
Yeah, right. They did shoot it in Louisiana though, and I must say, as a fan of the University of Alabama's football program, I must say LSU does have a pretty campus. So kudos to y'all. I go Tigers, I guess. They all like a lot of people also cut up the music in this movie, and I do not share that opinion. I think the song at the beginning and then the song at the end are both pretty good, especially for what they are, and I think they both slap. I think they're good. To quote the Gen Z
Dude,
kids,
you, you know what other movie has that exact same issue? Not issue, but I don't know. Plus, is The Dead Don't Die. Have you seen that
no,
with Bill Murray? With Bill Murray and what's his face? Kylo Ren. I can't. Adam Driver.
Adam Driver.
Oh, it's great, dude. It's
Oh,
literally a zombie movie with Adam Driver and Bill Murray.
that sounds
They're sheriff.
amazing.
They're sheriffs, and literally a meteor comes down and starts turning people into zombies. Check it out.
That sounds amazing.
Well,
I will.
if you want another movie, watch it and we'll talk about it. It was great. There's a song in it called "The Dead Don't Die," and it's just "The Dead Don't Die." It's terrible. But
And
anyway, back to the movie.
at least the movie does show Josh standing up for himself, particularly with his ex girlfriend because she is a cunt. He's
Oh
better
my
off without.
gosh,
He's
dude. Oh
he's
my.
he's better off without her. Good on you, Josh. Good for standing up for yourself. You saved yourself probably a decade of hell,
I had
literal
a
hell.
girlfriend like that who literally was like, "Oh, you don't do it this way, you don't do it this way." I was like, "Oh, bad. Bye."
Bye. Goodbye. But to be fair, in this movie's defense, because I do have issues with how the professor behaves, but and I can attest to this from personal experience, the idea that a college professor is a massive dick is a very real thing. This movie
Such
does inflate it to areas of illegality, but it's based on something very real. I'll never forget. I had an anthropology professor who, just for some reason, and I don't know why, I apparently just rubbed her the wrong way, and she rubbed me the wrong way because she pronounced Kevin Costner Kevin Costner, among many other things. And it just, we did not like each other. And I should have gotten an A in that class, and I got a C. And I don't know what it was, but the idea that a college professor can be a massive dick is a very real thing.
dude, that happened to me in high school, man. Remember our
This is true.
IT teacher
I don't know
had
why
it out
he
for
hated
me,
you, man. I do not get it. I
but
do
every
not
time I see
understand.
him now, straight respect, man. Shake my hand. How you doing? How's everybody doing?
Yeah,
I'm sorry to hear about everything.
I've run into him randomly a few times too. I mean, he and
He's
I were always cool, and I never understood why it's true. He did like, I don't know why. He just really did not. Maybe he forgot who you were and thinks you're somebody else now.
I don't know. Like that was like my first girlfriend's mom and dad. They hated me for some reason. I was like, dude, I'm a nice kid.
Until you cross me.
Yeah, Eric wants smash.
And one other thing that I really liked. Oh, I'm sorry. There's two more things. Uh, I already touched on this. I did enjoy Kevin Sorbo's performance in this movie for what it was. Is he a cartoon character? A little, but I mean, it's not like he's ham. I mean, he is hamming it up a bit. He is chewing the scenery in some of these scenes. Sometimes I feel like I want to blame the director, though, especially for his line delivery of "Yes, I hate God." I was like, "Ooh, Kevin, let's dial that back a bit." But other than that, I did really enjoy it. it's at least like he does actually give at least a sense of dread. Like the elevator scene, to be fair, I can't tell if he wants to kill him or fuck him, but either way, it's intimidating.
I don't know, dude. I enjoyed it because like he I hate to say it, man. When you're arguing with a liberal, like a true liberal, I'm not talking like your classic liberal like Joe Rogan. Halftime if you disagree with him, he's like, whatever, man, it's what I believe. And he's sitting there
Yeah.
smoking.
Unless you're
But like
anti-weed, then he
if you
takes the
speak
gloves
to a
off.
far left or far right, they're both the same, one and the same. Like I don't care what anyone says. But if you try to argue with them about stuff like that, it goes nowhere. Like
Well, and that's you can say the same thing about people on the
and
far
then they
right too.
explode like he did when he said,
Yeah.
"Yay!" ah."
I think that's anybody who's just entrenched in any position. You do tend to see that more often on the far left, I will say, but the far right's getting there, where it's kind of like I'm so entrenched in this idea that I don't even realize the hypocrisy that I'm spewing right now. But that's another podcast. But yes,
like MAGA people.
well, even go.
Still, I'm not talking your normal ones. I'm talking the crazy ones
Yeah,
who are
yeah,
literally
we're
still
talking the
supporting
ones
everything he does. I'm just
that
like,
are
oh my gosh.
but when your ideology becomes part of your identity, that's when you get people
Mhm.
like that. Like the idea of Kevin Sorbo's character, the idea that he is atheist is so ingrained in who he his identity that when
Mhm.
somebody challenges that, he reacts viscerally to it, and
I
that's
can't
the
hear
real
you.
problem. Me or
Yeah.
your wife?
Oh, what? She's just standing there like a creep. She's just like the creep in the corner.
Yeah,
It's like
y'all talking about Kevin Sorbo.
talking about Kevin Sorbo. Yeah.
To
She's
be
just
fair, I
standing there.
have that
Huh?
same reaction when I see him.
Sissy Spacek, what?
I have that same reaction when I see Kevin Sorbo appearing in something. I'm like, oh, Kevin Sorbo's doing something.
Hercules, Hercules.
Hercules.
That's what I just
Um,
think about is Hercules. What was his Enos? What was his friend's name?
oh, I can never remember.
Silent Inus,
Something.
Enos?
I don't remember. He was
I
just
can't
always there to
remember.
make Kevin Sorbo look tall. Which, to be fair, Kevin Sorbo is tall, but he was there to make him look taller, I guess.
All right.
And then the other thing I had on my list is I did appreciate the etymology lesson for the words atheist and agnostic in the first class. To be fair, though, that's about the only good philosophy class moment in this movie, but I did appreciate it. I see
Dude,
a
sorry.
pupper. No, you're good.
Yeah.
I
He
see a
came in, he
dog.
threw me off.
I see a dog ass.
What are you doing, boy? You eating?
What you doing over there, boy?
Oh, oh.
So what did anything that we haven't mentioned yet that you appreciated about the movie? That you liked?
Um, just I mean, it was to me like, don't get me wrong, like I can be it sounds like all audio died. Are you good over there?
Yeah, we got a comment from John
A concept
Lamenza.
a concept that has no existence can't die or live for some reason humans can't let go of mythologies. All the kids' arguments were horrible and his rebuttals were equally
Oh,
horrible.
don't worry, Justin.
God.
In the next section, I will be addressing every single one of them because yes, neither one of them does good philosophy. Which I can't fault the freshman college student for that, but I can absolutely fault the alleged philosophy professor for having
Well,
shitty arguments.
they're both arguing philosophy which can't be proven nor disproven. So like I mean
Well,
at
but
the end of the day,
you can't you can logically disprove something. I will point to Zeno's paradox of motion.
well,
Just
can you disprove that there's a creator to a house or like a building, stuff like that?
well, no,
No.
but
Then they obviously have a creator.
ironically enough, that's the teleological argument, which neither one cites.
Then why is one pair of our DNA fused together, which in that nature is literally like almost impossible? So who did that? Was you think it was aliens?
That's not what we're talking about. That's a different podcast.
Oh no, dude! I'm just getting. I'm talking to people in the comments. I could get them riled up.
Oh no, I don't think so because we're not to that section yet. But before we get there, because unless is there anything else that you liked about the movie that we want to address before we move on to the? the bad because the bad's a long list. It's a long list of bad.
Well, a lot of certain movies they don't like to use the word J word because like
As in
that for some reason
Jesus.
Jesus
Ah,
Christ
okay.
that causes a
Yeah.
lot of turmoil among people, and it's like I don't understand why one word would
Yeah,
make you
that doesn't
upset. So they're
that
like
that really
that's
doesn't
kind
make
of weird,
sense.
isn't it?
Well, but
Isn't that kind of weird?
here's what's interesting about that. I do actually fix that in my rewrite. So,
Oh, add more.
well, no, I mean, well, you'll see. I think you'll enjoy my rewrite, and I think even the atheist audience would enjoy my rewrite more because it just makes it a better movie and actually closer to an actual Christian ethic. But anyway, so before we get to the bad, oh no, we'll get there, Justin. The Duck Dynasty's coming. We did mention it, but there's more bad than good there. But we'll
I
get
don't
there.
I never really cared for them, so
Nah,
like
I didn't either.
at their height of popularity, I didn't really care.
But I do fix it. I do fix it. But anyway, so before we get to the bad, I want to let everybody know about one of the sponsors of tonight's video. Eric, what would you say if I told you there was a way you could go on vacation and make a difference?
Would poop my pants.
Well, get ready to change your diaper, my friend, because our friends at Globalware can do just that. Globalware is an organization that organizes vacations and corporate events abroad all over the world where you pay a honestly, it's a very small fee for what you're getting. Like it's kind of scary how inexpensive these trips are. And they you choose where you want to go and what missions they have available, and you go and you make a difference, and you also get to do all the fun touristy things. And the best part is people love these programs because almost all of them are repeats, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Kimberly, don't hate me if I misquoted you. I apologize. But I mean, just some examples are they have missions in Thailand, all around Latin America, Africa. You can even go on what's called a safari watch, where they plop you down in front of a water hole, and your job is to watch what animals come by there and drink for 24 hours. It's how they monitor populations of animals in Africa. So you basically get a heavily discounted safari, and
They get paid to drink.
well, you're not getting paid, but you're paying a small fee. Like for example, if you were to pay to go on a safari, you would pay a lot more and spend less time out in the safari. You spend the night out there. So you get to see day and night animals at a watering hole, and you count how many show up, and it helps monitor the populations on these game preserves, and it's really cool. I
Jake,
could
you've
go all
sold
day.
me.
Dude, she sold me. I did an interview
That's
with
I'm
Kimberly,
not joking. That sounds awesome.
and I was like, well, great. I had an idea of what I want to do. Now I have four after talking to you. So, need to start making some more of that money. So, but if you want more information on Globalware, it's the first link in the description, and you can see all the details. And they constantly have new missions that they're adding and doing because it's based upon need. Oh, Romania is another one. You can go to Romania, see the castles. You might need the Dracula. But all right, on to the bad. So, Eric, for the sake of time, I would
That
like
was a
and
nice save, by the way. Brown pants.
wear the brown pants. For the sake of brevity, share what you have in mind that you didn't like, because I've got a long list, but they're like bullet points. And if you think of something, just feel free to add it in. But
The dynamic with the girlfriend, that was just like completely unnecessary because no one with like
well,
a sense of
actually,
self would act like that. Like, could anyone really expect that? Like, that's ridiculous.
actually, it was necessary because he needed an excuse to have two concert tickets. So I'll actually forgive it because he needs to have the he needs to have a reason to have two concert tickets that makes sense and doesn't feel like, oh, look at me, I bought two concert tickets, God told me to buy two even though I needed one, I wonder why. This makes sense narratively, so I forgive it.
I just listen, like this is going to be wildly probably not popular with a lot of Christians. I honestly think that Christianity and the Bible are like Chinese restaurants. They don't need advertising. And I'm not saying that in a mean thing because everybody loves Chinese food, right?
You are one of my favorite philosophers. Like, you say some of the most outlandish shit, but it's always so true.
Speak it as it comes. But like,
Christianity
I
is like
mean,
Chinese restaurants. You were
and that's what I'm saying.
100% right.
Coming from a Christian guy now, because like I was a staunch agnostic, like completely, so it's just like I look at things differently now. As soon as he belittled her in front of her friends, I was
Oh,
like, dump him, dump him. Oh yeah,
we're
exactly.
talking we're talking about two different people. We're talking about Josh's girlfriend,
No,
not Kevin Sorbo's.
Sorbo's girlfriend, the way he treated her while she was literally hosting the party and like doing all the work, and he wanted to talk trash to her like she was his maid. I was like, dude, I would have been like, drink over your face.
Yeah.
What you gonna do in front of all these dudes? They'll
Uh,
beat you up for me.
she breaks the bottle and says, "I'll show you grapes of wrath."
Exactly.
We gonna have a problem.
They'd be going to therapy. Like, she said she killed me. She showed me the knife.
Wait, aren't you Hercules?
Not anymore.
She knew my one weakness.
I
Um,
just like I'm just like it's like diet soda. It just can never be real soda. Like, and I hate to say it, like, unfortunately the devil people are good at the movies. I mean I enjoyed the MCU so much, like, and new Spider-Man's coming out. I know it's made
dude,
by the devil
I
people.
saw the trailer for that though. Oh, the only thing I
I
don't
go to
like is
church and say I'm sorry.
it's it seems like they're doing, which I think Justin touched on this. It seems like they're doing the man spider thing, and I'm like, oh, really? That's what you're
Dude,
gonna
I'm
go with?
so stoked for it because, like, dude, did you not catch, like, from the trailer, the 94
Oh,
Spider-Man series? That's
oh.
what I felt. And I was like, go with that, please.
Well,
That whole arc was my favorite.
I still wanted my bit of Ned becomes Hobgoblin, and it's
Nah,
sad.
it's not necessary.
No, it is because that's why it's sad though, because
Has he met
Peter.
Harry Osborn yet?
No, not yet. I don't think so. I think
Exactly. We can go into that because he
no,
meets
no, no,
Harry
no, no, no,
Osborn
no, no,
in
no,
the
no.
94 series.
But let me explain. I've said it before, but you may have forgotten because it's been a minute.
No, 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 no. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Let
No,
me
no,
tell
no.
you
Let me tell
something.
you something.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're talking about Superman. That's the boyfriend who dumps her after she gets cancer.
Yeah, that
Dean
just made no
Dean Kane.
sense. Like
Yeah, I
that
know. Like
story arc
here's
was just
the
like
here's the
not.
thing. I've met some assholes in my day. I've never met that level of asshole.
That was evil.
Like okay, I've met some people who I would believe would break up with somebody because they had cancer, but they wouldn't say it. They wouldn't be like, couldn't this wait till tomorrow? They'd be like, oh okay, I gotta disengage. Like asshole, yes, but
Listen, I'm gonna be honest. If you're going on like one date and you find out, like, be like, listen, I appreciate you going on the date with me, but at the same time, like, that is too heavy for me right now. I wish you the best of luck. And I
yeah, but
honestly think that that's the best for someone's sanity.
yeah, but it's implied they've been dating for a while. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah, that's different. I know.
no, my whole thing is I want Ned to become Hobgoblin because it's sad because Peter remembers Ned, but Ned doesn't remember Peter, so Peter has to fight his best friend who doesn't even remember him. That's what I want. I want the
But the thing is, though, like, I don't know. I feel like, like, all right. So what was that thing that was able to knock Peter Parker's soul out of his body? The chosen one. What was she?
Doctor Strange.
Was it Doctor Strange was able to
Oh
do
no,
that
the
too?
the monk. Yeah, the
So
the monk.
essentially, then the MCU believes in the soul. So because
Yeah.
that's kind of what that is. So the
Hmm.
thing is, like, the soul, even though the mind is erased, the soul would remember a mark on its body, like, I don't know,
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah, and that
So
was a
that he can
concept that
he can rebuild the relationship.
sure, yeah, but anyway, that different. Trust me, we're gonna talk
Different
about
movie.
Spider Man.
I can't wait for that.
We're gonna talk about
We
Spider Man.
should next week we should just do a breakdown of the trailer and just talk about it.
Let's do it. Yep, I'm
All
I'm
right, let's do
I'm
that.
game.
Because
Because
one of our
honestly, I'm
biggest
so
stuff was
sick of
Spider-Man.
I'm so sick of
Just Spider-Man
politics,
trailer.
dude. I'm so
I
fucking sick
hate
of
it.
politics.
Well, because they're all evil. Every single one of them. There's not a good one. Like, I had to grow up a little bit over this past year, and like, people don't enjoy my opinions because I'm too far out there, and it's not even out there. It's literally just common sense.
All right, so I'll start rattling off some of the bad stuff, and if you think of
Sorry,
one,
I'm
or
rattling.
no, you're good. You're good. This is for the sake of brevity. All right, so the bad. This would never happen in any philosophy class ever. It would not happen.
No,
It's
they would be afraid to touch that because the First Amendment literally guarantees it because it's a government facility ish,
so that's one reason, but the main reason is no
dependent
philosophy.
on
Yeah.
private. Sorry.
Oh. There are a bunch of characters in the movie who have subplots that go nowhere, like the Muslim girl. I fixed that too. Don't worry about that. I
You know,
definitely
but the
fixed
funny
that.
thing is, I appreciated that simply just because, like, I hate to say it like this, but it was showing the dirty side of that religion. And I'm not trying to be hateful towards them. Like, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying, Christianity is perfect, but I'm just saying comparatively, like, when you
Mm.
stack things up, like, you can't show your face, you can't do
Well,
this,
but
like,
that's
that.
that's
That's,
not universally true. And okay, I'll get there. I have notes on that, but so no philosophy professor would ever gloss over religion, especially in an intro to philosophy class, because religion is the reason philosophy became a thing in the first place. Philosophy begins as a manner of thinking to try to explain how the world works, and one of the first questions posed by philosophers was, is there some kind of creator or God? And to illustrate my point, I'm sorry, I should have had these. This was my plan and I forgot about the plan. So,
those your new headphones.
does the Senate hall? That's my book there. And then where's the philosophy of
I
religion?
know he probably can't hear me, but philosophy is the
Where
bridge
is it? Where
between
is it? Where is it?
reality
Where
and
is it?
faith.
Where is it? 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 Where the fuck is it? That's my fiction. Where's my philosophy of religion book?
He's trying.
How the what?
Shake the
Huh?
cake. Definitely wouldn't stand in front of a class and dress down in religion. No, definitely not.
That should
He
not be
would
me.
have not.
Okay, well, anyway.
No, that's too many lawsuits. What was
Okay,
you doing?
I was trying
Different
to find.
headphones?
Oh no, you probably could just hear me. I was looking for my. This
Oh,
was this was the textbook from my philosophy 101 class, and just to
what
illustrate
year?
my
What year was this? Give us a year.
2008, I believe.
Okay. Just for reference, because like liberal teachers have gone and kind of got a little more popular and allowed to be more crazy nowadays.
But philosophy by its very nature would never skip over religion. So
Oh
the
yeah, no, I don't mean that way.
so here we go. Get out of the
You
introduction.
have philosophy teachers that really do like to batter people just because they have different beliefs, and it's like, dude, that's the whole basis of your class is different beliefs, and you have a problem with someone having different beliefs? That makes zero sense.
I think in philosophy.
Closed-minded, liberal, far-right thinking. I'm gonna start adding that in there too, just to piss off everyone.
Hey man, you're speaking my language. If I'm not making everybody mad, I'm not doing it right.
And see, I wanted to be libertarian, but they're too wishy-washy too, man. I tried,
But my
like
my
I try to fit in. I don't. I'm independent.
yeah. My point being is that virtually every chapter in this book has at least a section that deals with religion as a concept. My first philosophy class ever that I took, which was the year before, was specifically a philosophy of religion class. So the entire class dealt with religion. Some of the most respected philosophers were medieval thinkers, and they were all not only theistic, but it was central to their worldview. You cannot discuss philosophy without discussing God, religion, that kind of stuff.
Dude.
In in addition, you already brought up the First Amendment concerns. So here's the
Yeah.
thing. In the United States, here's what would have happened if what took place in this movie actually happened and a college professor mandated that his students write God is dead on a piece of paper or they would risk forfeiting 30% of their grade. He would have been fired that afternoon and would have been sued by the end of the day multiple times. Like he would not
Especially
be
with
a
how much
professor.
coverage in the movie of this event actually took place, and they like literally newscasted it. But the thing is, like, that's the way it used to be. Like, I know what you're saying, and I agree with you, like, it wouldn't have happened. But back in the early 90s, maybe like early 2000s, it stopped being that way. Like, you couldn't do that. You couldn't have those type of you could have those type of conversations. You could do that without issue with people suing. People have become sue happy because they are literally realizing they have rights,
Well, but in this
and
case, it would
they'll
have been rightfully so.
No, like what I'm saying is like he defended himself and he did a good job of it because he knew he was going to be able to because he believed in his faith, and he kept. Well, I mean, dude,
Oh
every
no,
time the
I
professor had an argument, he had a rebuttal, and they
yeah,
weren't weak.
just not a good one. Well, to be
I
fair,
mean,
they
they were good
both.
enough for to shut his argument down because like at the end of the day, he literally said, "I can't prove and you can't disprove."
Well, yeah, but that's effectively forfeiting the
And he says,
debate.
"Well, how do you know that?" And he's like, "Faith.
Yeah,
That's
but
the bridge."
that's forfeiting philosophically speaking, that's forfeiting the debate. But we'll get to
Right.
that because that is actually a central theme in my rewrite. The whole God is dead Nietzsche thing is a horrible misunderstanding of that quote. And Professor Radisson, as a philosophy professor, should be well aware of that, but he misuses the quote. Now, at least, and this is a part I forgot, at least the movie does have Radisson say, because that's his name, Professor Radisson, which I gotta say is kind of a killer name for a philosophy professor. I like it. Either that or Decent Hotel. It's one of the two, maybe both. He does say it is at least a metaphor, but it's a metaphor that he misunderstands. So
Well, God is dead or God is not dead.
God is dead.
God is dead.
Which here's the when Nietzsche says God is dead, he meant that modern science and Enlightenment thinking had eroded the genuine belief in the Christian God as being necessary to explain the world, even if society still clung, which they did at the time, to Christian moral values. Nietzsche, in his book, was actually warning that without that foundation of a belief in God, Western culture would face a crisis of meaning and descend into nihilism unless new values were created. Now, was Nietzsche an atheist? Probably. But he at least acknowledged the cultural necessity for that sort of foundational thinking, and without a replacement, which I would argue that Enlightenment philosophy still hasn't really provided, and we've seen it. And I'm not one of those people who's like going to make the argument that an atheist can't be moral, but I think without some sort of moral foundation, a society could absolutely turn amoral, as Exhibit A. But that's what Nietzsche was talking about. He wasn't arguing for atheism when he wrote that down. That wasn't what he was doing. The actual quote is God is dead and we have killed him. That's the
I
whole.
mean, if you get into
I mean,
the
I mean,
Judeo-Christian Bible, yeah, you
I mean,
guys did
yeah,
kill.
that's. I mean, that's not what he was talking about. It's a happy
I
coincidence. Well,
know,
not a happy, a horrible coincidence. Well, I don't. I guess it would be happy in the
I
anyway.
know.
That's a whole. Um,
It's like those Jews, silly gooses.
he definitely won't stand in front of a class and dress down. What?
No, he was agreeing with you with the professor not
Oh
breaking
yeah,
bread from them
not in real life. That is not a
because
thing that
that'd
would
be a
happen.
federal lawsuit against the school. They would have a lot of issues.
And the school would throw him under that bus so quickly and be like, I don't know what you're
Oh,
talking about. He doesn't even work here now.
they'd be like, his pension is gone. You can
and by
have it.
and by the way, all those kids got A's. So
You need a new facility built? I got you.
I got you. Now we're going to critique the philosophy class. Richard Dawkins, Noam Chomsky, Stephen Hawking, Sigmund Freud, Bertolt Brecht, and Charles Darwin aren't even philosophers. They're not, and they are definitively not philosophers. And calling David Hume and Ludwig Feuerbach atheists is kind of a stretch, but I'll give it to you. I'll
Dude,
give the movie the benefit of the doubt. I'll give you that
I think
maybe.
Stephen Hawking is the biggest fraud.
I don't know
Like,
that you
I
could say
don't,
he's a fraud.
he was a absolute fraud. I don't think he was. I think whoever was controlling him.
Whoever had the joystick.
Dude, don't act like that. Like, not you, but like, I'm talking people. Like, I was like, dude, like, no, that dude was a fraud. There was
Don't
something behind that. Like,
don't say. Actually, no. That's a condition that exists
the
beyond
little
him. That's
thing,
a.
like, I think he was only able to do this with the little stick, right? So
Are you
he had
talking
to,
about how he
he had to,
talked?
yeah, he had to cycle through letters
No,
and then,
it used his eye. The later models used his eye. He had a little. You can see
yeah,
it.
but he still had to memorize movements to get one specific letter or word.
Yeah,
Like
because it was a
that's a
bitch.
lot of That's a lot of brain power, and I'm just saying, like,
It is
if he
Stephen
was an
Hawking.
actual genius, now, I don't believe him, man. Like, I think all of history's a lie.
Yeah, that's
As
what I'm
an
saying. They were
atheist, the
both.
kids' arguments were frustrating because of how dumb they were, and the professor's lack of rebuttal was agitating.
Yeah, because
Well,
the professor should have been winning clean here, and
well,
he
see
doesn't.
that's the kind of stuff though. It's like if you have like an epiphany or an actual um how do I say this? Like you actually have some validity to your side as an atheist, I would say it and then just see if anyone can rebuttal it and see if it's just your opinion or their opinion you don't like or if it's actually the truth that you don't like.
See, that's how philosophy works normally.
And I love philosophy. That's the difference is I'm not going to fight with you as much as people would think. I would
I
love to just
love
chat and
philosophy.
philosophize.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of good at it sometimes.
And then also, at no point does Professor Radisson hand out a syllabus in his first class, which is what every college course does on the first day. Absolute statements like, quote, there is no God is antithetical to philosophy, especially coming from a philosophy professor. Like, again, you would never say that. Somebody would say there is no God, and a good philosophy professor would be like, why do you say that? Discuss. You expect him to believe that a university in Louisiana would have a professor demand his students deny God in his class? Really?
That's multiple lawsuits.
Well, no,
That's not just one now.
dude,
That's like 25.
Louisiana's in the fucking Bible Belt. No, and you expect me to believe there's only one Christian in that class? Bullshit. The professor would have been a Christian.
J- uh, Justin said at one point I had to rewind when the kid was saying because it was silly. He kept trying to use science to defend theology, but then would ignore science when it was inconvenient.
They
Do you
both
have a
did that. To
specific?
be fair,
Yeah, I was gonna say what specific point were you
I'm
pointing at?
I'm
Because
probably
uh,
gonna I'm probably gonna
sometimes,
cover it.
well, I was just gonna say sometimes science, like people don't realize science is ever changing. It's never settled. There's no such thing as settled science. It's always changing. Like you could say you know things and then we keep finding things out. Like people
Hmm.
know more about black holes nowadays than they did 20 years ago
We used to
because
think, yeah,
we keep turning on CERN.
we used to think stars had metal in them, and it wasn't that long ago. We're talking
Hmm.
like a little over 100 years ago, which in the scheme of things is quite a long time. But
Well, talk about other planets bringing water and life to Earth, back in the primordial stages, whatever you want to call it, that's neat.
oh, also, this professor's an asshole because he expects his students to read three very complicated philosophy books for homework on the first day in an intro to philosophy class. And he's also stupid because in one of the reading assignments he gives them, Discourse on Method, Descartes includes arguments for God's existence, including an early version of what would go on to be called the ontological argument, the idea that existence belongs necessarily to a supremely perfect being, which Josh never uses as an argument. He does not use the ontological argument or the teleological argument or the epistemological argument. He doesn't use any of them. And it's in the text that he was supposed to read on the first fucking day. It's fucking in the book. He should have been like, "Oh, this will be helpful when I debate my philosophy professor about this very thing." He is very
He
stupid.
knew it was in there. He just thought that he would be able to, like and I'm gonna say this, I'd probably get hate from a few Christians, they're somewhat entitled. I'm
They
not gonna say all
very
of
no
them.
no they
Definitely older ones,
this
sometimes they just,
variety
they expect a lot because they
but
give a lot.
this sort of variety of evangelical Christian though is generally speaking very entitled. At least that's what I've come across. It's a very
I hate to say
specific breed, but
I'm a family first. Like, I'm gonna be
yeah,
honest. Like, the people close to me, like they're the ones I'm looking out for. Don't get me wrong, I would do anything for any of the flock, but like most time it's gonna be a small circle because I'm only one person.
exactly. But that's not even that.
Everybody has their own circles. You good over there?
Yeah.
So
Uh,
I sound bad.
Also, and I don't forgive the movie for this for plot because multiple people bring it up, Josh could have and should have just dropped the class. In fact, People mention dropping the class to him twice in the movie, including the professor, which actually I think it's three people that mention it. The advisor, his girlfriend, and the professor himself. So three people say, you should probably drop this class. And yet Josh
Have
is
you
like, no.
you ever met a pushy Christian before?
Have I?
They don't drop classes,
A
buddy.
better question would be, have I met a non? Actually, I have
I
recently
wouldn't
met.
necessarily say I wouldn't necessarily say he was pushy. I would just say that he felt like a lot of people, like when they're Christians, they feel like something they're doing something. It's leading them.
I know he needed to defend God, but believe me, I have a note on that too. Okay, now we're gonna touch on the this movie is extremely ignorant of Islam. So there's a couple things here. So the hijab, which is the headscarf, and the niqab, which is the veil, are two distinct and very different pieces of clothing. This movie shows the hijab operating as a veil also, which means she'd spend the bulk of her time throughout the day just adjusting the damn thing because it doesn't work like that. Gravity is a thing. And it shows her doing this constantly. She's constantly making sure the veil part is up because it's one giant scarf. It's two pieces of clothing. This is not hard to find. Google is free, and it was free in 2011 when they made this movie. So that's one. Uh,
She was better off in the hands of the guys that, took her in after her father kicked her out for not wearing that.
oh,
Just saying.
trust me, we'll get there. We'll get
That's
there.
ridiculous. If
But
that's a
here's
part of the religion, that's what I'm
but
saying.
it's
That's
not
where people have an issue.
it's not universally though, and that's where they get part of this wrong.
Yeah, it
Her
could be like old Christianity, where everybody's like
well,
all
old
fire and
old
brimstone versus
old
just preaching love and forgiveness.
well, but old Christianity and Judaism also had headscarves for women, not so much the veil, but that was part of a modesty code that existed way back, way back when. But well, even in the medieval Europe, the idea of a woman going out in public without some sort of a bonnet or with her hair flowing, that would have been considered extremely like it would be like a woman going out naked now. Like honestly, that was the level of modesty that was expected in the Middle Ages.
I know, I get it because, like, honestly, a lot of Christian sects, I don't know what you call them, they they wear skirts and stuff like that. Have to wear like skirts 24/7, whether they
Oh,
Pentecostal and something else.
yeah, yeah, where they can't show. But even the guy, I'll give credit where credit's due. It's one of those where even the guys, I think it's apostolic, so even the guys can't show their legs. They have to wear long pants all the time. So
All right.
at
And
least it's equal.
Justin, he said you laughed when she was listening to the sermons because honestly, it's easier to hide a tape than it is to hide a book. It's
Yeah,
smarter.
but well, and then I have a note on the brother after this one. So her father insists that she covers her hair and face, yet has zero problems with her wearing a t-shirt in public. Which, if he were actually that conservative, would never have. He would have been more inclined to have her not wear the veil as opposed to having her bare arms showing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just stupid. Like,
Well, it's
I
because
don't get it.
they don't know about the thing they're criticizing, which I mean, you can criticize Islam. Absolutely you can. But if you're going to criticize something, you should probably know what you're criticizing because then you just look like you're
See, people say that, and then they never say like any rebuttal to someone's actual be like, so a woman has to be forced to be dressed like this and like this, completely covered in 100-degree heat and expect to just die,
No,
like
actually fun fact because if you've seen like the guys also wear like the robes and the I forget what they call it. It's not a fez, that's the hat.
well, a
The
lot of the time they're cooling if they're white,
That's
like.
well, they don't have to be white. It's how the fabrics are made. But I mean, I understand your point. But just to be that guy because the best kind of correct is technically correct. They're designed to be cooling, so at least you're not expected to go out there and bake. But I mean, it can't be comfortable. But anyway,
It's
and
not
then
comfortable. It's just like, that's just, why wouldn't you want to see somebody's face? They're like, that's
it's
weird.
it's a and that is okay. So let's be real. The hijab is fairly
It's
common.
weird. Like, all
The,
they see is eyes.
that's not
And they say, "Oh, we don't want to lust after anything," and I'm like, "Dude, the eyes are straight lustful. What are you talking about?"
but that's not the most common. That's actually a fringe. That if you're talking worldwide, the hijab's
And
much more
I'm not saying
common.
they're all that crazy conservative. Like, I'm
Yeah,
portraying them.
you're
Even
talking
talking
about
just
a
like a face
very
covering
yeah
and
you're
just skirt.
talking about a very small percentage, and again, if you're going around the world, most women who wear the hijab do it as a choice.
You want to know something I found out? An atheist will take Islam's side more than they will Christianity's side.
At least in the US, yes, this is absolutely true.
And you know why? Because the thing is,
Liberal
they
politics
both
and
believe
identity
in
politics.
no, they both believe in nothing if they believe in that. Like I hate to say it like that. There's no 72 virgins awaiting you. No, like all those people
That's
you
a
killed and that little 6 year old you married, nah,
that
something's waiting for you.
those are both very, very, very extreme and fringe beliefs. I'm just gonna throw that
And
out there.
I don't care. Like like they can get mad at me all they want. Like it's just
Oh, I don't
there's
care.
too much
You can
evidence to
you
support
can
that.
you can
Like anyone can
absolutely.
say evidence about either side, and I'll validify it all for you.
Well, no, you
Like
can
I'm not gonna say
absolutely.
there's good on good side on both sides.
No,
Like Trump.
you can absolutely make those criticisms. I'm just a guy here saying like that's not a widely held belief. That's a very extreme and fringe. But anyway, speaking of her brother,
Muhammad actually wed a 6 year old though, so it's
yeah,
not
that
extremely.
the number of people,
It's within that
yeah, the number of people defending that one
realm.
is kind of staggering to me. That one's hard
But
to.
at the same time, do you know how old Mary was when she was pregnant with Jesus? About
I
14 to 15. She was not
that's
11 like everyone says.
no, she wasn't. No, no.
She was closer to 15, 16, which is
The,
still
ge-
in my opinion a little too young.
well, you're talking about 2,000 years ago too, but um,
Exactly,
tip.
life expectancy was different then.
Well, they've also found, actually archaeologically speaking, that even in that time, the average, now sometimes younger marriage did happen, particularly with nobility, but marriage.
29 was what I found out was average
Well,
age.
typical would have been anywhere between like 16 to 20 in that time. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
yeah, she wasn't 11. That's just not a thing
No.
that would have happened. Her father would never have, well, not never have, but would very unlikely to have permitted that.
And the
But anyway,
human body is a magical, like if it's put in extreme conditions like that, like honestly, you're gonna mature faster. I'm not condoning nor condemning. It's just what it is at the time.
well, but if
Nowadays, would it
you're
work? No, you'll get dragged and we will burn you.
well, yeah, but let's say your average,
Shadows.
barring infant mortality, let's say the average age of like normal life expectancy was like 50. So 25 is middle age.
Yeah.
So just put that into perspective. I'm not condoning it today, but I mean, you're
Like
talking about 2,000
79
years.
today.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
talking about 2,000 years ago. But anyway, speaking of her brother allegedly sells her out, but then seems real broken up about it. It doesn't make any sense at all.
They just added so much. They like thought they were adding like sugar and spice, and they ended up adding onion, salt, and like garlic.
And
I don't know,
vinegar
dude.
for some reason.
Dude,
Um,
I'm just like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, man, just let the pros make the movies. I honestly, I can, that's why I was given absolute forgiveness is because I'm an idiot. I'm gonna sin. So
well, but speaking of Aisha, she's been kicked out of her home, and the church's solution is go to a concert. Are you
well,
fucking serious?
she was kicked out of home, but the thing is, I'm assuming those guys were going to the con, or did she go with somebody else?
No, she just
She just
went.
went by herself.
She just went by herself.
Yeah, it's like you know. Well, I mean, I guess she had money. You got to think like a lot of kids just live at home for free. She was just kicked out all of a sudden, so she probably had her own money in an account. So when she went broke. So
Actually, fun fact. I don't know that this applies to. I think it applies to daughters in Islam, but I know it applies to wives. So generally speaking, in Islam, the money that the husband brings in is the household's, but any money that the wife brings in is hers. Now she can choose to contribute to the household, but religiously speaking, that's her money. So I think it would be the same for daughters. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not Muslim. I do not know. I do know the bit about wives' money, but anyway, every single atheist in this movie is a giant asshole, and that is just not.
most of them are though. Like you're like one of the only ones. If you still are, I don't know. I don't know what you
No,
are.
no, I wouldn't consider myself an. I'm a.
Agnostic theist.
I'm really trying. Okay,
The
I'll put
way
it to you this way. I would consider myself a theist, but I have lots of questions.
Listen, I've got a simple solution for you to think about all that.
Yeah,
Literally take
Pascal's wager. I know.
all no, yes, but like take all the other religions and know how they work. Most of
Oh, I
them
know.
are good works, right?
Yeah.
So you got your bases covered there already because you're not a
See,
piece of shit. You do
you're
you do good
literally
works.
I've walked down this path a bunch of times, and it's
And
literally
then
it's you're what you're
uh,
doing is you're unpacking the number one critique of Pascal's wager, which is, well, yeah, but you're assuming it's Christianity. It's like, okay, let's apply it to everything.
you're covered under all the other guises of the other ones, and then on top of that, if you know you just believe in the Judeo-Christian God, and Jesus Christ, like the way I see it, you're covered there,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
like,
No, no,
and the thing is, it doesn't
logically.
change anything because like I'm assuming you go to a church, I go to a
Hmm.
church, and literally you meet good people who would do anything for you. Is that
Yeah.
really so bad? Like, why
No,
why are
it's
people
not.
so
It's not.
mad about that?
Because I do, and I can attest to this. I
They
think a
literally
lot of
criticize it so much.
but
Criticize.
a
I say
lot of
criticize.
a lot of people, and I'm included in this. This is the what sparked my crisis of faith. I've talked about it before. A lot of people come across Christians, and one of the many reasons why I like the church that I go to is in a couple different sermons, the pastor actually makes a point to be like, don't be that kind of Christian. Don't be that guy. Be the other guy, you know. But they come across a Christian that is overly preachy or is a massive dick or talks about the wrong parts of the Bible that aren't really all that important. They get hung up on the rules when the whole message is that, like, you're already saved. It's been done. The rules
Exactly. That's my whole argument. Like people want to get so hung up on the rules. I'm just like, dude, like, did you not read it? I read it. It's
clearly,
very simple.
clearly they didn't. Radisson technically isn't an atheist because he hates God. So, which the movie addresses. And oh boy, we got to talk about the ego on Josh, man. The ego on this kid.
The kid?
Yeah, the ego it takes to
He
believe.
didn't seem like he had such
Oh,
ego.
he does because the
He seemed like he
ego.
just believed in something. Like ego, like no, like
Oh,
you think about
I'll
it this
explain
way.
it. I'll
He
explain it.
knew what he was saying, like in his head. He knew what he was saying. So it was fact for him. So obviously he's going to argue with what is it? I don't know, prosecution. Duh. Anyway,
Persecution.
go ahead. No, not that. It
Okay, so
fiery.
but but the ego it takes to believe that God needs you, a college freshman dork,
Right.
to
Doesn't drive you
defend
to the
him,
hospital when you're laying in the road dying.
right?
Exactly. I was like,
Yeah.
it's like his lungs are bleeding. I'm like, so what? Get him in the back seat. If
No,
he dies on the
this
way,
is
at least you
this
tried.
this is how that scene should have gone. Kevin Sorbo goes, "I'm gonna spill, please." Like,
God's gonna save you. And it's
he's
like,
like,
no, that's
no,
free will.
no, a lung drain will save me.
Yeah, seriously, like nobody had a pen.
To be
Seriously,
fair,
like that would have
no,
saved his
no,
life.
you're not wrong. Trake this bitch. Oh no,
And didn't
what?
that
No,
guy
his
say he
lungs
was
were
a
bleeding.
doctor?
Yeah, he's like, I know exactly what's happening, but I'm
That's
not
the
going to
problem
do
with Christian
anything.
movies.
Yeah.
I repeat, like they're getting better at them. I think I just watched a movie on Angel uh not too long ago where what was that one guy? He has like white hair and he always plays bad guys. But he's like the devil and he's able to shift people from one reality to another. And he literally shifts this dude's wife and like it's weird. I haven't finished it yet because I wasn't able to, but like it's a Christian movie, and I was like, what? So like
Hmm.
hell is like in different dimensions all over, and he can shift them to different realities. Like
I mean,
that's hell.
yeah, probably,
So it's like
but
the devil constantly switching people to different realities. Dude, it's like it was like Dark City in a
oh wait, are you talking about the Good
Christianity thing.
Place?
No,
Because that's Ted Danson.
is that a show like that a thing?
Yeah,
I've never seen that. The Good Place. What is that like heaven?
it's a so that okay. You'll like it. You'll like it a lot.
I think my wife watched it. Like maybe I'll
Yeah,
have to watch that.
it's funny and genuinely good. But yeah, the like this entire movie is just Josh's ego, and nobody calls him out. The pastor should have called him out on it.
because he went into a class knowing full well what he was walking into and acted like he didn't. It's
But
like you
but
knew
but
what you were doing.
but it's the fact that
That's
he even says in the movie, it's like, I think God wants me to defend him. Bro, he don't need you to defend him. It's a
you know what
done
a
deal.
you know what a lot of and I hate to say this, conservative Christians do.
They have a
They
martyrdom
are
complex.
they're very passive aggressive.
Yeah. Well,
They
and
attack
they
you from the side, like, little jabs, like trying to act like, no one else is listening. Be like, "Oh, I love you so much," but then, they walk by you and be like, "I'm gonna punch you in the fucking
yeah.
mouth. You better not go to sleep. I'm gonna put a rat trap between your legs."
At the end,
I'm sorry. I'm just
no,
calling
no,
out
good, good.
hypocrisy.
Yeah. At the end of the day, this movie is a sermon, not a movie. Uh, the Duck Dynasty cameo is forced, but don't worry, I save it in the rewrite.
Let's hear this rewrite.
Oh, it's coming. It's after the bad. I make Duck Dynasty look good, dude. I have done the impossible. Neither Josh nor Professor Radisson actually make any well structured philosophical arguments. Forgivable for Josh because it's his first philosophy class. It's unforgivable for Radisson. He is allegedly a professor. In fact, Radisson basically uses an appeal to authority fallacy with Stephen Hawking, which a freshman causes it to blow up in his face. Josh's God of the Gaps argument in his first presentation is flawed not only for being a fallacy, but he gets the order of creation events wrong from the Bible. Technically, if you're going by Genesis 1, God creates the heavens, the earth, and water, as water is mentioned before light, and then utters the phrase, let there be light. So the equivalence to the Big Bang does not work. A much better version of this argument would be to bring up the main.
But what the Big Bang created everything.
Correct. But
Not everything was created and then just light happened.
I
Like that's what
know
the Bible says.
I know
Those
that's the
two
point.
events they don't match up.
But that's the point because Josh uses the argument, the language of let there be light to describe the Big Bang, but the biblical account of creation, light is like stage 4, not stage 1. That's
Well,
that's the problem.
if
There
if you're trying to translate something, from a different language, whatnot, people could easily mistranslate something. So maybe that's how you came about that,
No, no,
Big Bang theory.
I'm not saying that the thought is necessarily wrong. I'm saying the way Josh presents it is wrong. Because
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he's doing a one-to-one comparison and it doesn't
and you
work
can't do
because
that.
well,
Two
because
different.
first of all, the God of the Gaps argument is a really weak argument in and of itself because in essence it is essentially saying, "Oh, we can't explain it, so God." Like that's a weak ass argument.
I just think that if he created the earth and darkness, like he didn't need light to create it. If he's creating it, like he doesn't need that. Like if he's as powerful
I
as they
agree.
say,
I agree
and then
because
he'd
you
be like, okay, now I'm creating the sun because that's going to take a lot of energy versus the rest of the friggin' places, whatever.
I agree, but a much better version of this argument would be to bring up my main man Muslim philosopher Averroes.
Justin, that is exactly what I love to do is try to use science to explain theology. But the thing is, like, I don't do it the way Josh does. Like, I'm
Well,
not going to like I'll call out the different fallacies of something, and people don't like that.
here is so this actually gets it. This is why one of my favorite philosophers is mentioned here. So, a much better version of this argument would be to bring up my main man, the Muslim philosopher Averroes, and his mantra two truths cannot contradict one another. Josh could easily have equated it into a philosophical argument that the Big Bang and the idea of an intelligent creator don't necessarily contradict one another. So at least the Big Bang theory doesn't have to be an alternative to God. Shaky, yes, but way better than he
You
presented it
know,
in the movie.
the funny thing is people don't realize that, like, if there was a creator, he could have created that Big Bang.
That's essentially what I just said, but in a more
So
nerdy.
the thing is, like, honestly, it's a roundabout circular definition because even if you believe in nothing, you it's you still believe in something because nothing
Nothing
can
is
be
the
something if you
hey,
put
nothing is just the
affections to
app.
it.
Nothing is just the absence of something.
Yeah, it's like, what definitely doesn't exist? Nothing.
Well, conceptually, nothing can exist, but
But even in the Bible, they talk about the lake of fire, which like literally erases people. People don't realize that. They think The lake of fire is hell. Like I've what I've
No.
been reading, it's not. Hell
No.
is hell. The lake of fire, hell will be thrown into the lake of fire in the Bible at the end of time,
Well,
whatever.
I don't have too many issues with the Bible as structured, but I have a big problem with the Book of Revelation. But that can be a whole
Which,
nother
by the way,
podcast.
we're not. By the way, we're not living in the end times. Everyone keeps saying
No.
that. Like everything that's been happening has been happening since in the Bible.
No, I'm going to
Like
tell you
people,
right now. When the Black Plague happened, yeah, I understand why they thought that was the end of the world.
yeah, I mean,
Compared to
the
that,
Black Plague was like COVID, but the thing is, we're a little cleaner than they were.
a
The
little.
Black Plague, literally, like people who had cats in their house that would kill the rats, they were safer during those times.
That's actually part of the reason why there was persecution of, well, okay, never mind. That's the main reason why
But they
cats
believe
became
those people are
associated.
using
Black
witchcraft. They were
magic,
they
yeah.
they assume these people are using witchcraft to stay alive when they just had cats. Like I just got a cat.
Well, but
Why are you mad at me?
that's why to this day that brooms and cats are associated with witches because of the
Dude,
Black
I'm telling
Plague.
you what, if like all that history was correct and not like fictitious, like I'm not trying to be that person, but like we're pretty stupid and we've come a long way.
We've come a very long way, but we just got a couple more bads. And like I said, if you think of one, just chime in. Professor Radisson physically and verbally assaults a student, which also includes threats against his academic career. Fired and sued same day. Uh,
Yeah, but they had to make a movie about it.
I
So
know, I know, I know. But the movie treats Radisson's dating a student as a sort of sacrifice for love when it's really just super fucking creepy.
if they're of age, like past like at least like 19, because like it's just icky if you're like above 25 dating like a 18-year-old. But like, like 20s, okay.
Well, I'm not talking about the legality, although we're given to understand that she was a freshman when they met, and I'm going to go out on a limb and
They had
say
to
in
keep it
this,
secret and
yeah, well, that's just for ethical reasons, right? But
well,
they talk about dating each other after she aced the midterm. She was still a student. That's unethical.
and a very very religious Christian too.
Yeah, so
And
this
it's like,
wasn't a
how did you
secret.
guys meddle for so long? It's like I don't have any problem with unyoked households. Like people have an
No,
issue with that. A lot of hard-headed Christians believe in that. And I'm like, dude, like if it makes sense to them, if you find a way to make sense to them, it's their beliefs will change. Like if you quit being so like try to force it in someone's ear, like most people don't learn that way. You got to talk to them, reason, philosophize.
philosophize.
Dump him yesterday. Yeah, that power dynamic was terrible. I,
Yeah,
I was like, Kevin
it's
Sorbo, dude,
super icky.
I wanna punch you in the mouth, dude.
But the Christians who made this movie didn't have an issue with it.
Well, they had to make him look like a bad guy. He was a
I
liberal.
guess, but damn.
Liberals are all evil according to him.
Radisson doesn't use any of the classic atheist arguments from philosophy. Example, can God create a stone that he cannot lift? These are basic atheist arguments that the atheist college philosophy professor didn't think to use. I mean, these are basic
Well,
shit.
some rocks have different densities and they are heavier than others.
I know, but the logic is that God is all powerful, but yet God cannot make an object that he himself cannot move. Therefore, it's a weak ass argument, but it is an argument that Radisson does not. It's a well known one too.
I'm not following. You said he can't he can't like
It's
am
a
I
it's a
dumb or
it's
you?
a it's a proof. It's proof of not well, not proof. It's an argument for non-existence based on a paradox. Okay, so the supposition that Christian theology gives is that God is all powerful. Yes, that's a rhetorical question. God is all
Oh,
powerful.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So therefore God can make and do anything, right?
Outside of free will, yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah, but this
Because
is something that he would do.
he made the rules, we didn't. But the thing is, like, could God create a burrito so hot himself he could not eat it all?
It's the
Dude,
same argument, just funnier.
like, listen, dude, if it all goes down the way I believe it is, I still hope I can have microwave burritos in heaven, dude, because I love Tina's hot beef burritos, dude. They're like the worst thing you can eat, but I'm just saying they are magical. They
Oh
make me
god.
feel closer to God. And I say that with love because it's true
Oh,
because they increase my dopamine.
I already said this, but this is a more nerdy version. Technically speaking, Radisson isn't an atheist because he believes God exists. He just hates him, making him a mesotheist.
Bingo. You know, the funny thing is, like, as soon as I started watching the movie and I saw his attitude, I was like, oh, something happened in his past, you know, and like,
That's typical,
I
though.
had this,
Anybody who's gone through um, a crisis of faith probably saw that coming from a mile away because you're like, yeah, he's way too angry about this too.
a lot of the times, like, either people will get super, atheist or like super religious when bad things happen to them at a young childhood. It just
Yep.
depends on like whichever tree branch they go down because like some people will literally hop on the atheist side, you know, because something bad happened and they say, why would God let this happen? And then the other side says God had a reason for this, and then they
Yeah.
become super. And I just break it all down. I'm just like, listen, if you believe in God, that's great. If you believe in Jesus, that's great. But free will is a bitch, and the thing
It
is
is.
every decision you make is your own free will. So if there's something wrong with your body, it's your fault. You know, people are like, oh, why does cancer exist? I was like, because we're the dumb race that sprays our crops with the poison, and it's in everything. And then on top of that, all the stuff we drink and eat, like we poison ourselves, we give ourselves cancer. He didn't do it. We
Oh, and
created all this bullshit. He literally gave us berries and wild game to, you know, eat and whatnot. And we decided to
you ever tried to
start
catch a
making.
wild pig though? That shit's hard.
I mean, watch Pauly Shore, dude. He tried.
Dude,
I love that movie.
thank you so much for getting that really dated and specific reference. Um,
I had saffron today, so my brain's really turned on. Like, have you heard of that stuff?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Helps with ADHD and whatnot. Like, it's pretty. It's the truth, man. I
yeah.
like it.
So does getting a better job. The whole God exists because of morality is not a good philosophical argument at all. And also, last but not least, not for nothing, the random Chinese character is speaking Cantonese on the phone with his father, but his father is speaking Mandarin. If you listen closely, you can hear the very different phonetic patterns of their speech.
I didn't notice. They can only afford so much, man. The budget was shoestring
But
thin.
here's the funny thing, like a lot of because they are two different Chinese languages, but people assume, oh, they're similar enough. No, they are different languages. I've actually met people who only spoke English and Cantonese. They could
They're
not
not
speak
just different
Mandarin.
dialect.
No, they are different languages.
Oh,
They are not
well,
that
because
close.
Cantonese is Cantonese and Mandarin is
Mandarin.
Mandarin.
Yeah. China big.
I,
China big place.
dude, I love
Speaking
mandarins,
speaking
dude. Mandarin
China.
oranges.
Speaking China.
Oh, whoa.
I
What
love
would
this shirt.
Fuzzo do? No.
No, the one panda's got a chair.
Oh, wrestling. I likes it. That took me a second to get. I was like,
It's one
what
of
is that?
it's one of my favorite shirts. Before we get to the rewrite, did you have any other bad things you wanted to point out other than Superman being a massive dickhole in this one?
Yeah, that made me mad, but Kevin Sorbo dying, I thought that was completely stupid. Like, you know, dude was a doctor. He could have just taken a pen and popped a hole in his lung.
Well, and it's also implied
Uh,
that he's like a doctor in Africa, so he's
the
like,
Christian concert was humongous to
oh,
not be a
really?
Christian college. Let's just put two and two together there. Like, if it's not a Christian college, like, I'm not saying that
Well,
Christianity is not popular, but there
LSU
would
is a
not be
state
that
school.
massive. I know that's what I'm saying. So like there wouldn't be that massive a population for a Christian thing that in a liberal college town. Like if that
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Well,
you
and
got to think.
plus,
Listen, if the
plus,
professor was a liberal, then you would assume that most of the kids are
well,
probably more
fun,
majority liberal.
well, funnily enough, though, actually, you bring up because there are four sequels to this movie, which they do get progressively worse. I mean, just God, they get so bad. But it's by the time we get to like the fourth or fifth one, they actually, I think it's the fourth one, or maybe it's the third one. I don't know, but it's not the second one. I know that because that's where we get Sabrina the Teenage Witch getting sued for talking about Jesus. Um, No. Yes, that is accurate. Um,
She talked about Jesus on the show and they got sued.
no, no, no. That's the plot of the second movie.
I guess I've never seen it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the black guy being like, "We did a good thing," and I'm like, "A guy is dead." Well, to be fair, like, listen, when you are crossing traffic, this is where I come back to free will. He didn't look well enough before he decided to walk
He
out
he
onto a
got the
road.
he got the signal for the crosswalk though.
Doesn't matter. Still
I mean,
look,
fair
dude.
fair enough.
You
Fair
are, it's
enough.
your life. No one
Fair
else is
enough.
responsible for your
Hey
life.
man,
Free
I still look
will.
when I'm turning right on a green light.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't want to
Why?
get
I'm
T-boned.
I'm looking left and right, and I'm looking
Yeah.
straight, and I'm checking behind me, like because you're supposed to check all your shit every 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I'm probably the safest person for anyone to be in a car with,
I'm
even
so
though I
safe.
drive scary.
I'm so safe at driving that people make fun of me when I drive, but I'm like, hey, still alive.
Exactly, exactly. I did just get a car without cruise control, and it was by absolute accident because I thought it did, and I'm very disappointed. It's a 2014 Chevy Cruze, but like
Oh, you got a
we
new
needed
car.
we needed something with better gas mileage, and it literally gets like 48 on the highway.
Hey,
So I
not
was like,
bad.
I will take it. We spent 4,300 on it total, so not complaining.
Not bad. So before we get to the rewrite, we're gonna.
Exactly. Justin said, I feel like his death was avoidable. I agree. Just take him to the hospital.
Oh,
Like
don't
what they,
worry.
they literally, they just said, oh no, don't move him. He's bleeding. I'm like, so if he's going to die, then just try to move him.
Don't worry. It's almost time for story time where we fix all those issues and more. But before we get to the rewrite, we got to tell you a little bit about our other sponsor, Vizard.ai. Here is a quick video.
Stop wasting your time on manually editing your videos. The secret AI tool will do the work for you. One of the best
then
thing
after
about
this,
it
it'll
is
just
that it
be-
gives your video the
Oh,
potential
I know,
to go
dude.
viral.
You're gonna love the rewrite.
Visit this
I
page,
literally like.
sign
I'm
in,
like, I fixed
create a
this.
project by clicking on this button. Choose a video that you want to use. Click on the AI clip button. Wait for the magic. It is scanning through the video and looking for the parts that has the potential to go viral. Instead of editing the video
Yeah,
by
no, I get
yourself,
that.
it does the work for you. It even generates headline and captions which
Yeah,
fit
no,
your
that's the
video.
thing. I just want to watch
Another
it.
surprise
Yeah,
is that
Justin's
they
he's
generate
definitely got
video
beliefs, but
description
he'll
or
even tell you
social
it's
posts
like
for you
he's
to use.
less left
Once
than
done,
he was.
click export to post.
All right, we is back.
All right, cool.
Oop, wrong screen. Sorry about that. All right, so
Hello. That was his
hello.
nude. Sorry about that.
Ha ha.
That's our calendar coming out later this year. Look out for it in the
Exactly,
stores.
but you have to subscribe.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to make sure that. So if you want to try Vizard.ai, use the second link in the description, and you will not regret trying it. Oop, wrong screen. Sorry about that. All right, so just making sure. Yep, we got our audio. Okay, so here's the good news for the rewrite. All you got to do is sit back and listen. But again, if you have thoughts, interject them. I will be very boring reading, but the best way I could figure out
Justin
how to
said the
do this.
Christian rock group not encouraging her to get treatment for her cancer was
No, no,
objectable.
no, no, no. That's not what happened. They're talking
She
about what they could
they,
do
they
that night.
they just prayed with her because they knew they couldn't like cure her right away. And
Yeah,
that's another thing about free will and literally environmental. Like that people need to remember environmental because we live in a toxic world.
yeah.
So if you grow up in a toxic environment, you're going to end up with some type of cancer. Like it's unfortunate, fast.
But believe it
This
or
is a
not,
dirty world. Fast.
believe it or not, I fixed that too. So
Go for it, buddy.
this is my loose outline for how we could change this movie, keeping all the key elements in, but just making some changes. So just like in the original movie, Josh enrolls in college and Radisson's class. In the better version of the movie, Radisson is still a militant atheist, but also a real philosophy professor. The first class, they start with philosophy of religion, as they would in a real philosophy class. And Radisson grins ear to ear when asking the class to divide up who is a theist and who is an atheist, meaning like atheists on this side, theists on this side. And Josh is the only theist in this particular class. What this means is that Josh is the only person who will be presenting arguments for the existence of God in educational debates in the class. This is unorthodox, but plausible in a philosophy class. Radisson could say he was trying something new, trying to make it more interesting, yada, yada, yada. But the point is it rare? Yes. Is it plausible? Yeah. This could also serve as a mechanism to expose a Christian audience with refined philosophical arguments for and against the existence of God.
Not very good ones, though.
No, no, no. In this version, they would be good.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm following. This is
After,
the rewrite.
yeah. After class, Josh talks with his girlfriend in the cafeteria, just like in the original movie. He surprises her with the 2 concert tickets, just like in the original movie. Aisha, who works in the kitchen, also overhears him, just like the original movie, and says nothing at this point. Speaking of Aisha, her father is still very conservative and does insist on her wearing the hijab, but the veil's a bit much. She would also be wearing a long sleeve shirt. It's also implied that the family isn't too well off, which would explain why her father, who is conservative Muslim, begrudgingly allows her to work because the family needs the money. Josh's first debate, he crumbles, citing scripture and being easily defeated by his opponents, and Radisson interjecting on his appeal to authority arguments. Because the class went so horribly wrong, Josh goes to the church, like he does in the original film, but with different motivations this time. Pastor Dave's role is largely the same up to this point. He still talks about wanting to do real work. He offers Josh some actual advice and guidance, but he also advises that he can just drop the class, because in this version of the movie, Pastor Dave is a real person. In this movie, Pastor Dave gives Josh some guidance and on books he can get from the library to help him out. We get to the second clash where Josh where Josh brings out the ontological argument. He's still defeated, but he's gaining ground. In this movie, the breakup happens in the cafeteria after the second clash, where Josh is eating lunch and researching, emboldened by his better performance, but still being defeated. But the conversation goes largely the same way. Aisha witnesses this too, and again doesn't say anything yet. At this point, we switch gears and have the Duck Dynasty cameo, which goes largely the same way it did in the original movie, where they have the ambush interview. But this is a plant for later. We also have the interactions between Radisson and his girlfriend Mina and her mother, etc. Those go largely the same as they would at this point in the movie. Josh's next debate, he brings up the teleological argument, which is basically the watchmaker argument, like you said. It's the same logic of if you came across a house and had no idea what a house was, but you came across it, you look at how specific it is, how it clearly had a plan, it clearly had a designer. That's the same argument. The teleological argument, which does quite a bit better in his debate. He's becoming more comfortable making these philosophical arguments because he's learning philosophy. Imagine that. It's here.
I'm assuming we're keeping the Duck Dynasty guy because they're Christians. And
no.
It was just a celebrity spot they needed to fill.
Oh no, we're keeping the Duck Dynasty guy because, believe it or not, he serves a purpose later in this rewrite.
There you go.
It's coming more. See where you can handle a bit. Okay, it's about here in the movie where we discover that Aisha is a Christian secretly. We can then get a montage of Josh debating and finishing up with the cosmological argument. This is when Radisson can hit him with the God is dead bit, so we don't have to change the title of the movie. After this clash, Josh and Radisson can have their confrontation. This time, though, it's more about Radisson's ego than him being a cartoon character atheist. This can also be the bit where Radisson talks about his mother dying like in the original film. He informs Josh that he'll be debating against Radisson himself in the next class. We can now have the moment where the journalist's character gets her cancer diagnosis. Josh is in the cafeteria again, which is almost empty because it's later in the day. It's implied that it's late in the day. Aisha comes over and talks to him as she's cleaning up. She asks him what he's always reading about. He explains what he's doing, but confesses that he wonders if he has the strength to keep going, or if he even should, as if a failed class in his first semester could possibly... because a failed class in his first semester could probably severely jeopardize his law degree in the future. She reassures him, Aisha, and tells him faith is always worth fighting for, but that sometimes faith alone can be the answer, and that sometimes faith alone can be the answer. He thinks about that and thanks her and packs up and says he's going to the library. We cut to the party scene at Radisson's house that goes largely the same way it does in the original movie, as does Mina's meeting with Pastor Dave later on, discussing whether or not they should break up, yada, yada, yada. This is the scene where Aisha's father finds out she's listening to the biblical sermons, that she's a Christian. He does kick her out, but he doesn't hit her. There's a very important distinction there, and there's a reason
No,
why.
he smacked her.
In the new movie, in the rewrite.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Sorry.
No, you're good. Because we're dealing with real people.
Yeah, exactly, because that makes them look really bad.
It's also unnecessary. We get the point. He kicks her out. Okay.
I don't like that shit, man. Like, don't hit anyone, like,
Yeah.
unless they deserve it.
Well, and the reason I still keep this is because Aisha is an important character, a more important character in my version, but also people do get kicked out of their homes in the United States for religious reasons, and that's not unique among
Especially that.
Muslims. It happens with Christians too.
Yeah, like if they're very staunch Christian conservatives, they'll disown their gay kid. I'm just like,
Yeah.
It's like they're just gay.
Yeah, they're just gay. Nobody's perfect.
Like just leave them alone. Like it doesn't matter. Like if they come around like being weird in front of you, like be like, hey, I'm uncomfortable with that. Like if you respect me, I'll respect you.
Well, then you hit them, but you don't kick them out. It's one or the other, folks. I'm kidding.
It's like you're uncomfortable with me making out with a girl. You know, like anyone should be comfortable doing that stuff in front of people. It's just weird.
Yeah. We come back to Josh in his room reading, but at some point he realizes what day and time it is. The Newsboys concert is tonight. Because remember, he had the tickets, but he broke up with his girlfriend and he's been real busy. So he leaves. On his way walking to the concert, he walks by Pastor Dave's church and sees a light on in his office. He feels compelled to...
Annie.
Huh?
Not Annie, I'm sorry. Go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. I'm being stupid.
He feels compelled to go in for some reason, as it would be odd for someone to be working at the church at this time. He knocks, and while initially told it's not a good time, Aisha recognizes him and invites him in. Aisha is in the office crying. Pastor Dave and his secretary are consoling her because they're doing what an actual pastor would do. Pastor Dave lets her know that she is not alone. They're making arrangements for a place for her to stay and some temporary food relief, but it will take at least a couple hours. Josh remembers his second ticket and invites Aisha to go to the concert with him, if for no other reason to simply pass the time while they wait for her aid to get put together. He acknowledges it's not much, but at least it will help pass the time. Aisha accepts, and they go to the concert together. We cut backstage at the concert, and Willie, the Duck Dynasty guy, comes in and greets the Newsboys as they are friendly with each other. Willie's getting ready to pray with them when Amy comes in and has a moment very similar to the original movie, but with Willie there to hear everything. They pray and give Amy a backstage seat for the show with Willie. Willie tells them to go on ahead, that he has to make a quick call. They leave, and he calls someone and basically says he needs to move some money around. Concert happens, and we go to the final debate. Josh doesn't come in combative, he comes in calm. Josh concedes that he doesn't have all the answers. He acknowledges that if someone has closed their heart to God, there may be nothing he can say to convince them otherwise. Faith cannot be forced through argument alone. He explains what changed his perspective wasn't a syllogism. It was what he witnessed the night before. He saw faith that cost something. He saw sacrifice without expectation. He saw love that wasn't transactional. Some truths, he says in his argument, are not grasped by reason alone, but recognized by the heart. And that a friend once told him, sometimes faith is enough. Call back to the Aisha line. Josh then addresses Nietzsche directly. Nietzsche may have been right that modern society no longer needs God to explain lightning, disease, or the motion of the planets. Science has given us extraordinary answers about the mechanics of the universe and how it works, but that doesn't settle the metaphysical question. He then quotes Immanuel Kant, who, if you're going to talk about Christianity and philosophy and not mention Kant, that's a fucking crime. Quote, I have therefore found it necessary to deny knowledge in order to make room for faith, and Kant was not a stupid man. Josh explains that the professor has framed the entire debate as a scientific question, but science deals only with phenomena. what can be measured, tested, and repeated. Kant demonstrates that when we try to use pure reason to either prove or disprove God, we overstep the limits of knowledge. The absence of empirical proof does not disprove, it is simply the boundary of theoretical reason. Josh closes by returning to what he witnessed, quote, and this is Josh's line: maybe God isn't necessary anymore to explain the mechanics of the universe, but what I saw last night was real. Real love, real courage, real joy. If that's the fruit of faith, then doubt isn't the most honest response. Quote, therefore, God is not dead. Class ends and Josh is unsure of his fate, but he's happy nonetheless because his faith has grown. As we show him walking off campus, we cut to Aisha helping Pastor Dave and his friend finally load their luggage into the car, which I forgot to write this part down, but the car bit stays largely the same. Her phone starts ringing, but her hands are full. They say goodbye and hug, and Dave repeatedly asks if she'll be okay. She assures him that she'll be fine while he's gone, and they drive away with a car that finally works. After they drive off, Aisha checks her phone, and it says, missed call Baba. And that's it. That's where we leave it. So her father called her, is what happened. Radisson comes home after school, after the last debate, and goes to his office and reads the letter he has from his mother. After reading it and thinking for a bit, he leaves his office and finds Mina packing her things, his girlfriend. He sincerely apologizes to her, and after they make up, he pauses and then asks if she would mind if he came to church with her that Sunday.
That was mic drop, dude. That would have been so much better.
Right? And it's all, oh, shoot. Somehow this got deleted.
Because honestly, that's a better message. Because like everyone, like I said, one of the biggest issues I had with Christianity was doom and gloom.
Yeah.
I like positive, dude.
Well,
Positive's great.
That reframes the whole thing around hope, because also I had a more descriptive line where the journalist character goes to see her, because now she's like, okay, at least I'm gonna fight. Like, yeah, I might die, but at least I'm gonna fight. And then when she gets there, she's like, that would have been a much better movie. Thank you. Somehow billing comes up, and then the doctor and the lady at the counter is like, "Oh, honey, it's been taken care of." And then she goes, "What? That doesn't make sense. I haven't given you money." She's like, "All I see is a paid bill here." And it's implied that Willie Robertson pays for her cancer treatment.
Yeah, it does use pointless side characters for effect, and honestly, it just didn't hit.
Hey, PureFlix, shoot me an email. You want a good Christian movie? I'll write that shit for you.
There you go. Hell of a side hustle.
Yeah. God's Not Dead 6. This one's actually good.
I won't watch anymore because literally I just wanted to watch this for the movie. And did I enjoy it? Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's an enjoyable movie.
The first one is the best one.
Okay,
which
well,
is kind of like,
I had no interest in rewatching.
Which is kind of like being the fastest fat guy, but still.
It's like
I don't know,
being the smartest kid with Down syndrome. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, I'll keep that one.
That joke's unpalatable these days.
Yeah, we're soft as a society nowadays.
we got
softism.
Middle.
We got super weak in the middle. Everybody's got a belly. Does the ghost of Kevin Sorbo come back?
In my version, no, not in the actual movies. In my version, he doesn't die.
His version was better.
Thank you. Now, when AI gets good enough,
ended with him literally wanting to go to church with his girlfriend, because the thing is, like, a kid literally just, de-escalated and was like, you know what? You seem very hurt, and I'm not going to be able to help you, so I'm just going to do what I can, and I'm going to walk away.
And ironically, that's how you reach people.
Absolutely.
You give them an alternative that they don't have to take. That's why when we talked about
a seed and you water it and you wait.
Because it's not implied he doesn't convert, but he's at least gonna, which is something very similar that happened to me and is still happening. It's like he doesn't instantly convert because that doesn't happen. You don't instantly convert. You go through a process, but at least he's like, I'll hear what they have to say.
No, there should be no resurrection metaphor because
No,
that's
that's Jesus.
that's Jesus. That would
That's
be
Jesus territory.
blasphemy.
Well, not even blasphemy. It's like it's been done.
Well, because according to the Bible, like, 1,000 years reign of Jesus, so like we're not under that yet, so we're not in end times or anything like that. If you believe in the Bible.
Yeah. Well,
So
anyway, that
that
was the salvation of God's Not Dead. I hope you enjoyed that.
I honestly think some rewrites are going to be shot in your name.
Send me my fucking check.
Not until you do some work, son. But I'll tell
It's
you what, dude, that
it's
would be
documented now.
awesome.
Well, you know what I'm thinking? Maybe I'll get with maybe we'll get with Max and we'll just make a radio drama out of it and get sued because
Dude,
it's totally not ours.
he needs to just give up on California and move out here. And
he
then
hasn't.
like we just have
He's been in um, Oregon for a while.
we just get a studio, dude, and literally just like start acting and making up skits and whatnot, dude. That would be fun.
Dude, we can do it. We can do it.
All the
Well,
above.
we will sign off because this was a long one, but it was a fun one. And don't you worry,
Al Borland
we're
approves.
gonna we're gonna clip that rewrite as a clip so people can experience the salvation without the shit talk. But no, I mean
The shit.
it's a good background movie if you've seen it because you look over anytime Kevin Sorbo's on screen and then you can just get back to whatever you're doing.
Yeah, because honestly, that's the thing. I only paid attention when he was on screen because I figured the rest of the movie
I
was
did. Oh,
useless, and
I
I was just
forgot.
like,
I forgot.
I saw everything, but
Yeah, I forgot. There is one line that I love in that movie when he's like, "In that class, there is a God, and I'm him." And I'm like, "Oh, that's good. That's real good."
the funny thing is I did like that. I was like, yeah, you tell him, but I was
That's
like, you're
good.
wrong, but you tell
That's
him.
good. Well, it's kind of like when somebody just makes a horribly incorrect insult, but it like still has power. Oh, not to mention the racism of the one black student being like, "My name G Dog Durop, whatever." I
Token
mean,
black
just
person, man.
yeah.
That's what that it was. Your Like I said, man, the Christians at that time, they had no business making movies.
And
They did a good job.
they found the nerdiest fucking Chinese kid. He tucked his pants
Speaking
in
of
and rode a bike, you Poindexter
speaking of
fuck.
nerdy Chinese kids, I started watching the live action uh One Piece.
Ah,
Dude, it's not bad, but it's awkward. It is
dude,
awkward.
I don't like One Piece. Why would I like the live action version?
I didn't like the anime, but I'm actually liking the live action. It's
Eh,
fun.
eh. To each
I don't
their
know,
own.
dude.
Hey man, if Netflix wants to spend the money, who am I to stop them?
Dude, I wish we could get a live action DBZ that was worth it.
I don't know that you
I,
can,
s-
man.
I said worth it, Yeah, it's hard because the thing is like Luffy, man, they do some things. You know how like in like most animes somebody's always screaming out of like celebration. I'm just like, can you not do that?
Yeah,
Like you
yeah.
can be happy, but like just like yeah. It's like
It's like
let's not do that.
real people don't do that. But that was God is not dead. God's not dead. Forgot that's a contraction, and I'm proud of that thumbnail. So give us a like for the thumbnail. Subscribe if you have not already, and let us know what you thought about God's Not Dead in the comments if you've made it this far, and which version would you rather have watched? And we'll see you next week. We'll do a nice little breakdown of the new Spider-Man trailer. I like that idea, and we can talk about the other movies that we've seen thus far because I have grown to appreciate them the longer it's been. I hated
They were
Spider-Man Home.
fantastic.
Dude, I hated Spider-Man Homecoming when it first came out, but after some time and seeing the other ones, I'm like, okay, I get what they were doing here. I don't love it, but I can appreciate it.
Andrew Garfield left such a
That's
a
honestly,
stain on me. Like I don't even know how to say it any other way. Like I impression so well. I was like, dude, he like acts so well. And then I was like, dude, that's my favorite Spider-Man. And then honestly, like the
that's
first one, I was like,
still.
eh. Second one came out, and I was like, all right, this dude's pretty freaking good.
I don't
Or no,
dislike
no,
Tom Holland's Spider-Man,
Civil
but
War. Civil War. I didn't like him. I
No,
did
I
not
couldn't
like.
stand him. I couldn't stand him, and
But
so I
then,
still don't
sorry,
like him.
Homecoming. I was on board.
It was
Sorry.
better, but man, I'm telling you, I'm one of those dorks that still loves, because I know everybody's like shitting on the multiverse now, but I still love Spider-Man No Way Home.
It was the one of the single greatest pieces of cinematic history in
I loved
history
it.
ever. Now, it was amazing, dude.
I think
All
this
three of
new
them swinging
one,
together.
I still think this new one's going to be Chef's Kiss Spider-Man.
I think so too, dude. And if they do anything like the '94 series and we get Man Spider, dude, like
I
I
think
had that toy.
that seems to be where they're going.
Oh, I had that toy, dude, and it was so awesome. All
Well,
right.
because it's implied that he's going to have organic webbing, not organic webbing.
Spider-Man's not dead.
He just went home. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, bye.
Sky